My mission is to simplify the way individuals and companies in SaaS generate revenue. I've been working in software sales since 2018 and have worked my way up in the same public software company from a sales development rep to a senior account executive. The two biggest problems that hold individuals and companies back from reaching their full potential is the inability to generate enough pipeline and lack of revenue efficiency. As we think about pipeline generation, there's two key activities that move the needle: cold calling and cold emailing. The four metrics associated with cold calling is answer rate, set rate, show rate, conversion rate. Answer rate is of the amount of cold calls you make, what percentage of customers, prospects actually answer the phone. Set rate, of the amount of live conversations you have via cold call, how many meetings do you actually set as a result. Show rate, of those meetings you set from the cold calls, what percentage of customer prospects actually show up to the meeting. Conversion rate, of those completed meetings, what percent of those meetings convert to actual qualified pipeline. As we think about cold emailing, there's four metrics associated with successful cold emailing, and that's going to be open rate, the number of times opened, set rate, and then response rate. As we think about open rate, the amount of cold emails you send divided by the amount of opens you actually have from those emails. Number of open times, I think that this is really interesting because it shows interest in a prospect customer looking at it and then coming back later in the day to check out more. And this is of the amount of cold emails you have opened, how many times is it opened, and basically think of this as click-through rate engagement. Next, response rate. Of the amount of open emails you have, what percentage of emails actually get responded to. And then finally, set rate. Of the amount of emails you have opened, what percent of those emails result in an actual set meeting. Those are the 8 key metrics associated with pipeline generation. As we think about qualifying pipeline, you then have to actually work the pipeline to close the deals. And I call this revenue efficiency. There's 4 key metrics associated with revenue efficiency: average deal size, win rate, close time, and then pipeline coverage. Beginning with average deal size, you can take the total amount of pipeline you have divided by the total amount of deals you have that you're actively working, and then you can figure out what is the associated value on average of each deal you work. And this is really important as you think about your quota increasing over time, having to win a certain amount of deals at a certain value to actually put you in a position to hit your quota. Next, win rate. Of the amount of open active opportunities you worked, what percentage of deals actually result in a signature, completed DocuSign, winning the deal. Next, close time. This is from the time you open the initial opportunity to the time the deal is marked as won. How many days does it take to win the deals? And then finally, pipeline coverage. As a senior account executive with a $216,000 quarterly quota, it's important for me to have at least 4x coverage to be in a position to hit my quota. So as we think about, let's just say for the sake of simplicity, $200,000 quota, 4x pipeline coverage would mean $800,000 in pipeline. So as we start to think about the mechanics behind this, if you have a small average deal size, that means you need to work more deals. Whereas if you can increase your average deal size, then I only need 8 $100,000 deals to hit quota to have $800,000 in pipeline. If I can increase my win rate, maybe I need less pipeline coverage because I'm more efficient with winning my deals. As we think about hitting quota on a quarter-to-quarter basis, you're constantly up against the clock. So being able to reduce the time you open the opportunity to the time you actually win the opportunities is really important as well. And then as we think about pipeline coverage, of course, the more pipeline you have is important, but you also want to be mindful of quality pipeline. Are those opportunities diversified? Are you working with different industries? What is your ideal customer profile? And you got to be asking yourself these questions so that you can reduce the risk of you not hitting your quota, for deals slipping out, or for losing deals, or them pushing for reasons in your control or out of your control. A macro lesson I've learned is never underestimate a prospect's ability to disappoint you. These metrics only matter as much as your willingness to actually do the work and put in the activities. As we think about more success in sales, it really comes down to effort and skill. So everyone has 24 hours in a day. everyone can work harder, and you can just say, okay, I'll make more calls, I'll have more live conversations, and naturally I'll be able to get more pipeline. In addition to working harder, you also want to up-level and increase your skills. That's why it's so important to understand these numbers so that you can start to track yourself. What is your efficiency? How many deals do you actually need to be working? How many calls do you need to make based on your win rate, based on your average close time? And you can start to make this into a system and become a machine, the art and the science of working in sales. Let me know down below, which of these 12 metrics do you struggle with the most? And then I can make a deep dive video talking about best practices for improving it. Subscribe now because it helps the channel.